I will just briefly touch on our product, the Evergreen Monetary Investors Network, Emin. Evergreen Monetary Investors Network. Now, we have designed that product to fulfill our mission of building extraordinary wealth from ordinary opportunities. Our mission of building extraordinary wealth from our mission statement, from ordinary activities, ordinary opportunities. Those of us who are with us know that we run a cooperative right now, and where members are encouraged to make their daily contributions, and quite a handful of people have taken advantage of that. But we still observe that people are struggling with creating long-term wealth. People are struggling with creating long-term wealth. And so we have come up with a product we call Evergreen Monetary Investors Network. Evergreen Monetary Investors Network. And we have programmed it so that everybody and anybody can use it, starting from just 100 naira a day. I do not know if there is anybody who cannot afford to set aside 100 naira a day. And I don't think there is anybody who cannot. And for setting aside 100 naira a day, at the end of 1 year, you will have set aside 36,500 or 36,600 in a leap year like this year. And we have given us the privilege of also determining for how long we want to do that. We have the short term, which is 5 years, the medium term, which is 10 years, the long term, which is 15 years, and the very long term, which is 20 years. So if you contribute 100 naira per day, every day, for 5 years, you will have contributed about 182,500. 182,500 for 5 years. And the rate of return is 12% per annum, which does not beat the inflation right now. Inflation rate is about 28%. But it is still better than keeping your money idle somewhere or having nothing at all. It gives you room to ensure that the monies you are carelessly throwing away today can amount to a fortune tomorrow. So for that 182,500 that you have contributed over 5 years, you get back 260,000 naira, 260,000. If you decide that instead of 5 years, you will do 10 years, in 10 years, you will have contributed 365,000. 365,000. And the rate of return for 10 years is 15% per annum, and you'll be getting back 852,000 naira in 10 years. That's approximately 1 million in 10 years. Well, irrespective of the level of inflation, 1 million naira is still something. Even today, 1 million naira is something. However, if you're able to do long term, up to 15 years, then you will have contributed in 15 years 547,500 naira, and you'll be getting a return of about 3.15 million. Over 3 million. Wow. So it begins to make sense as the tenor increases. If you then decide to do over 20 years, you will have contributed 730,000 naira in 20 years, and you'll be expecting 10.6 million naira in return. So even for just 100 naira per day. But it is not so much as the amount as about the consistency. Once you start, you must continue, because when you mess up with the contribution, you mess up with the returns totally. When you mess up with the contribution, you are killing future money. You are killing future money. So, there's also packages for multiples of 100. I can do 100, I can do 200, I can do 300, I can do 400. You may start small and then scale up. We cannot start big and scale down. So do what you can afford. Do what is convenient for you. Do what you can afford to set aside and take your eyes off there. Then for some others who can do 1,000 naira per day, that will amount to about 366,000 in a year. And that in 5 years will be 1.825 million. 1.825 million. So you can decide you want to pay it upfront. You can pay it annually upfront rather than gather it per day. Or you pay it monthly upfront. You cannot pay it in arrears. Now, what is the yield? If I make a commitment of 1.825 million for 5 years, what do I expect to get? 2.6 million. 2.6 million. If I extend that, instead of 5 years, I'm doing 10 years, so my contribution will have doubled from 1.8 to 3.65 million. But your yield will have almost quadrupled from 2.6 to 8.5 to 8.5 million. What if I extend it to 15 years? Over 15 years, I'll have contributed 5.5 million. And then I will be entitled to 31.6 million. What if I do 20 years? Over 20 years, you'll have contributed 7.3 million. And your take home at the end of 20 years is 106 million. So as we can see, the longer the tenor, the more the capacity of your capital. Because the real rewards are not in the early years. It's just like any tree that when you plant a tree, in the early years you are watering, you are fertilizing, you are nourishing. There is nothing to show for your effort. If at all even the first year harvest will be so minimal, but as it matures, you find that the harvest gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it just becomes autopilot. So this is the principle of the Emin, Evergreen Monetary Investors Network. So that's available to every one of us, apart from the scholarship, apart from the eHead Plus. This is available for you to build wealth. It's available for you to build generational wealth. We have put in checks and balances to ensure that in the event of death and you pass it on to your successors in estate, they do not squander it. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. You want to build the legacy of wealth that can at least run through your generation and 2 or 3 other generations after you. If you had that privilege, your life will be better. Your life will be a different thing altogether. So, nobody may have done that for you, but you resolve today to do it for those who are coming after you. So this is what Emin represents. This is what Emin, Evergreen Monetary Investors Network, is trying to achieve for us. So again, I welcome us and I take reactions. It is full-fledged now. Very soon, we'll put it online and it will run on its own. So you want to take advantage of it, please do so now. And then there's a caveat, however. Everybody cannot access it. You must at least have bought an entrepreneurial package to be able to access it. And the least entrepreneurial package right now is 10K, and it's going to move up to 20K. That is Navigator. So you can see we are restricting entrance. Yes, because it's not going to be for all comers. It's going to be for the serious-minded. We don't want people to come in today, rush in, and within 6 months, they say they are tired, and how soon can they get out? That's not what we are looking at. We are looking at very, very serious-minded people. And we are looking forward to having the best of results, and we are looking forward to having living the best of times for our children and for our children's children. Thank you very much. Ebony World, transforming lives for life.
Transforming lives for life.